I don't think people would have thought that a school could have a museum.
So our museum is located, like you said, in the historic Berryfield Village, which is really the perfect location for a one-room school where we're talking about education in the early days of Ontario and Kingston. So it really does feel like you're stepping back in time when you get here. Our building, it was built in 1886 by William Newlands, and it was actually the town hall for Berryfield for many years before it transformed into a library. And then after that, that's when we moved in. So it's a building with a lot of history. We have a lot of history, and it's just a great place to, like I said, go back in time and just explore what life was like back in the 19th century. So it's really in the 19th century, so from early 1800s onwards, there were a lot of significant changes in Canada and Ontario, particularly trying to establish a formal education system. So we're, in a way, a bit of a living history site. We have an active working classroom just behind me, where there are desks from the schools that were used, pen and ink, slates, and in the summer months, we have a school marm or master on site where they can teach a lesson in the style of the late 1800s. And the kids are encouraged to, get into role play and that sort of thing. But for those who don't want to do, the displays are constantly changing. We do a lot of things in tune with the seasons. So every time you come, there's something new to see. So yeah, there's lots to do. So we also talk a lot just about daily life and what it was like growing up in this time period. And a truancy book actually records reasons why a student would have missed school. It might not come as a big surprise that there were a lot of barriers that prevented a child from going to school on a regular basis. So the truancy book was kept by truant officers who would go to homes around Kingston and basically knock on the door and ask parents or guardians, why isn't this kid in school? And try to get them to go to school.
Who is in there? Is there anybody we might know who's in there?
There could be. I mean, it's definitely Kingston. It's not that big of a city, right? So some of the names might be familiar, but I mean, it's not all doom and gloom. Some of them are kind of funny. There are notes that just say, father didn't think the child was learning anything, so that's why they weren't going to school.
But I know that there's a lot more at the school to talk about. You mentioned that there was another book that reflected some of the activities. What can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so first of all, it probably doesn't come as a surprise to many people that we have a lot of books at a museum about schools. So this one is a little more lighthearted. We call this one the sewing book. And the sewing book was crafted by a woman born in Kingston named Georgina Lovick. And it was made when she was attending what's called normal school in Ottawa. And normal school was the equivalent of our teachers college or Con Ed program today, called normal school because they were teaching the norms of the time. So you have to love how straightforward that is. And the fact that this is what kindergarten, so children ages 4 to 5, were expected to do is just mind-blowing. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I was in kindergarten, it was a good day when you could color inside the lines, and I didn't even do that very well. So the fact that they're learning to sew and hand plate and all these crazy crafts is just really interesting. Yeah, so actually, this book really inspired us at the museum to do kind of craft tutorial videos based on the techniques that were presented in this book. So on our YouTube channel, which you can find on our website, you can go and pick. We have a paper weaving video, we have paper folding. It's not just videos, we have printouts and different curriculum resources. It's also where you can go, if there's any educators watching, we have a virtual museum program that you can present through your own Google Classroom.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe for more content.